Hi everybody, this is Oksana. In this video we're going to be making this fun little floral ring, little flower bouquet ring. It's a great beginner friendly simple design. Here's what that looks like on. So if you want to see how I made this, just keep watching. The wire I'm going to be using in this video is 20 gauge round dead soft copper. The spool's from RioGrande.com, and then my tools are going to be wire cutters. These are the Swanstrom brand, and pliers. These are the Lindstrom RX 7890 pliers. I'm going to be using some assorted flowers like this, where the hole is kind of in the middle. If the flower faces you and you put the wire through the flower, the wire would be going directly towards you. They're about 10 to maybe 12 millimeters roughly in size. They're just plastic or acrylic. I found them on Etsy. I'll leave the name of the seller. I'm not sure if they are currently still active or not, but you can find lots of these types of flowers on Etsy. So we're gonna take 2 pieces of that wire, and they are 12 inches long. You're just gonna line up the wires next to each other, find the middle of them, and where they are in the middle, we're just gonna crisscross them like this. And then we are gonna twist them. So I'm gonna grab these 2 ends and these 2 ends, and I'm just gonna twist like that. Okay, you might need to practice this if you haven't done it before. It can be a little tricky to get the hang of doing the twist. One thing that really helps it go more smoothly is if you imagine the twisted wire as a straight line. This wire and this wire is the same distance from that straight line, and same thing here. So if one of these wires is a little bit closer, then you just want to adjust it. You want them to be the same distance, and that is what's really going to help make the twist nice and even, rather than having one of these wires wrap around the other, which can happen. If one of the wires is more straight, the other wire starts wrapping around it and it messes up your twist. So where we first started, the twist is just ever so slightly looser. As you can see, that's just natural from having started there. So what you can do is just hold it in that little spot with your pliers, and then as you twist the other side, kind of twist with the pliers as well, and a lot of times that will work well for tightening that up. And then you can also press this way just to have it be all even. Sometimes some of the twists can be like a little bit more bumpy, and this can help fix that and even it out. So we're just going to keep going with this because this is going to be the band of our ring. So I'm just doing one hand and the other hand, and this hand's going forward and that one's going back, and it's just adding these little twists. Don't worry if it, gets a little bumpy. We'll straighten it out. So just keep going. Just gonna straighten that out. I'm just straightening that out a little bit. And you can just take your ring mandrel and select the size that you want and bend it around that size to see if it's long enough. So you just want the ends to come together. That's all. And you have 2 wires on one side, 2 wires on the other side. You want one set of wires to be kind of on the bottom and another to be on top. That's going to help you as well when you are pushing this down to shape it around your ring mandrel. All right, so when that all comes together like this, we are going to, you can hammer this. That is another option that you have. If you are going to hammer it, you're going to have to open it back up again. Okay, you don't have to hammer it. I'll show you how to do it anyways, just in case. But you're going to have to open it back up because it needs to be flat for you to lay it down to hammer it. Let's see, mine got like a little bend in it. So if you are going to hammer it, it does give it a nice kind of slightly flatter look to the twist, but you have to hammer it super lightly, like ever so gently and lightly. Don't hammer it a lot, because what's going to happen is if you hammer it too much and it becomes too flat, you won't be able to bend it in that nice round shape. The wire will start to become hard and brittle, and you might actually get angles when you try to bend it around your ring mandrel, or it might even snap and break. So this is my iron block, and this is my chasing hammer. I'm going to use a flat portion, and again, just ever so lightly tapping it very, very gently. All right, so that's that. You can see it looks a little bit flatter. Just gonna bend that around my mandrel again. So some of the wires are gonna be on the bottom and the other ones will be on top. Now hammering the band, what that did is it gave it a little bit of a flatter look, but also it kind of strengthened it up a little bit, made it a little bit harder. So what you want to do now is find the wires that are on bottom. So for me, that's these here. See how they're going underneath, and these are on top. So out of the 2 wires that are underneath, you have one of them that is on top of the other, just because the way the twist is going. So this one is above and this one is below. Okay, so you want to take the one that's below. This is the wire we're going to be working with, okay? So what you want to do is close up your ring, because right now there's a gap. See this little gap? You want to close that up so you don't have a gap. And then we're going to take this wire and we're going to bend it this way, okay, and it's actually going to go underneath all the other wires. Just bending it around, having it go underneath the other wires. And a fun thing to do here, if you have a little leaf charm, something like this is a little plastic leaf. If you Google tiny plastic leaf, this comes up on Etsy. So you could kind of add that on as part of it. Oops. It'll just kind of stick out the side here, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep it simple and just have flowers. So whether you added the leaf or not, you're going to then continue with this wire. Just continue wrapping it around. Once you've come back to this side, so it made a full circle, what you're going to do is just take the end of it here. We're going to bend it just kind of this way. We're going to trim it. And just like this. And I'm doing this to hide that wire end. So see the little end of it? It's going to be, number one, hidden underneath the flowers. And number two, we're going to just push it down so it's not sticking up, and it's almost just like a loop where the end of the wire is just going into the wire itself, so you're not going to poke yourself on it. Okay, so now you want to take these 3 wires, just kind of point them upwards, like so. Maybe like spread them out a little bit. And we're going to take the plastic flowers that I showed you earlier. So just slide the flowers onto the wires here, like so. And I'm just using 3 different flowers. I just wanted to show you different ones, but you can use all the same flowers as well. So they're just going to be together here in this little group, in this little bunch. You can try to arrange them a little bit, like you can kind of push on the flower and it bends the wire a little bit. If you want to like face it a little bit more towards you. But basically now that they're on there, we're going to lock them in place. And what we're going to do to lock them in place is trim the wires. Going to trim them nice and short. Make sure the flower is pushed all the way down. Like sometimes they get like a little stuck and might be like this or something, so you don't want there to be a gap. You want it to be pushed all the way down, and you want to trim this. Do it a little longer if you're unsure. You can always trim it shorter afterwards versus if you trim it too short and then there's nothing you can do. So it needs to be long enough where you can curve this end. You can use round nose pliers, but I find that these pliers that I'm using right now have a nice fine tip, so they work really well also. So I'm just taking the tip of the wire and I'm curving it into this sort of hook or an upside down letter U, and then I'm just pressing on that to just kind of close that up. Say it's a loop, I'm closing up the loop like so. Okay, now this flower is locked in place. They can move like side to side, so this could be a little bit of a fidget ring. Now I'm just going to do the same thing here. I like to do one at a time rather than cutting them all, because then once the wire is nice and short, the flowers are going to start falling off. So that's why it's a little easier to just do one at a time. So I'm taking that little end with my pliers, curving that down. You can kind of see that. Press down on it and like this. And now the last flower. So I just have to fix it. You can see how it's raised. Just naturally got that way because the other flower pushed it. So I'm just pushing it back down. And I'm gonna trim this wire. And with my pliers, just taking it, curving it, and closing up that little loop. And just like this. All right, so now our flowers are all together in this little bunch like this. And here's what that looks like when you're wearing it. Little flower bouquet ring. And let's just put it on our ring mandrel. So it ended up being a size 8, which is what I had bent my ring band around. So that's it. I hope that you enjoyed this video, making this fun little ring. A great project for beginners as well, only uses one type of wire. If you like this video, please leave me a like down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I post new tutorial videos every weekend. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!